Hey guys, and welcome back.
Oh, things circus.
Today's video is all about functional flexibility and stretches to be able to handstand. So these exercises and stretches are great for anyone who is just starting to handstand or who wants to get into handstanding. These stretches and exercises are great for beginners or anyone who is just starting out because all of these components will help you to start getting flexible to be able to handstand. So stay tuned because I'm going to take you through a full functional flexibility routine to help you guys. I will even include some harder variations and some easy variations for anyone of any kind of level because you could very easily use these stretches as a warm-up, or you could pick ones that you really like and add them to your warm-up or to your cool down. I also have a free beginner handstand guide, so if you are just starting your journey, I will leave a link down in the description below for that beautiful comprehensive guide to get you started. Alright, so first off, we are just going to start with like our arms and our shoulders, and we're just going to swing them around in front and backwards, just starting to loosen up those shoulders. This is also really good because it just starts to get your like arms moving in all different ranges. We can do some swings in front and behind to really start to open up that chest. And next after that one, we're just going to bring one arm across, do a bicep stretch. It's really important that you start to stretch your arms because you'll be doing that a lot when you handstand. So with this one, make sure that shoulder isn't coming up, you're pushing it down, and then you can pull with your other arm to bring it in to make the stretch more intense. And then the other side. And then after that, we're going to bring our arm up and behind us in a tricep stretch. This stretch I find is really good and important because it helps to mobilize your shoulder when your arm is above your head, which is really important and of course correlates like directly to handstands. So with this one, make sure you've got your hips tucked under, your head isn't dropped all the way down, you're looking up, and then you're also trying to reach that hand onto your back, and then you use your opposite hand to pull that one over to get a deeper stretch. You can also do this one where you grab your fingers and you pull down with your other arm. And of course, an even easier version of that one is using a theraband with that hand if you can't reach it, and holding it and pull. Sorry, not a theraband, like something hard like a stick or like an old t-shirt or a sweat towel. And then you can pull that arm down with that instead. And then the other side. Make sure you're really standing with good posture when you do this. Alright, and then next you also want to grab that pole or that sweat towel or a theraband again, and this time you're just going to do dislocates. So start wider apart and just make sure that you can get your shoulders around and then move in a little bit. Remember, it's quite important not to push yourself with this one too much because it is quite an intense mobilization on your shoulders. So don't be afraid if your arms are all the way out here and you're just doing that. Just getting that movement through your shoulders is really important. Slowly over time, you'll find that you might be able to creep in a little bit closer, and you'll find that your shoulders are starting to get more flexible. Right. Alright, next up you want to find a wall that you can use and stand up against. This first one is an overhead shoulder sort of test, but you can also use it as a very easy shoulder flexibility exercise. So you want to have your feet a little bit further out, You want to try and squish your back into the wall, just like when we do those activation drills lying on the ground, because we want to mimic what you do in a handstand. And then you're going to bring your hands out in front of you with your thumbs facing upwards, keeping that back flat on the wall with your upper back flat on the wall as well, and then also your head resting against the wall. And you're going to bring your arms up, trying to keep that back nice and flat on the ground, not letting it come up, and seeing how far your arms can come overhead. It's all good if they don't come very far. Just note that the further down you are, just might mean that you need to work more on your overhead shoulder flexibility and mobility. So we'll do this a couple times just to start to warm this up and just to see where we're at for the day. Alright, and then coming down onto the ground, we're now going to go through some more shoulder opening stretches and exercises to help your overhead shoulder mobility. We're going to come onto the ground and we're going to do a cat stretch. Except with our cat stretch, we are going to round our back and not arch it, because we want to keep the stretch purely in opening up our shoulders. So rounding your back and then pushing your shoulders down to the ground. Oh man, oh golly. And then if you want to make this one even harder, you can do it on a box to get an even deeper stretch. So just like before, not bending our back, keeping it nice and round, and then we're just pushing our shoulders down into the ground. And coming up. So leading on from that cat stretch is some lat stretches, because sometimes, especially for people that have done lots of weights, is they find that they've worked their lats a lot, especially in the pulling down motion. So sometimes those people will really struggle with getting their hands close together, and so they'll be out quite far. So it's really important that you stretch your lats as well. And so from our cat position here, you can bring one hand over to the side, using the other hand to keep it there, and then you can stretch into your lat by pushing into that side. Shuffle around to a different angle so you can see, so you're really pulling into that side. And you can kind of move how you see fit to find the spots where it stretches the most. And then the other side. So from here, you bring one hand across, other hand goes on top, and then leaning into it. To get even more of a stronger lat stretch, you can use like the edge of a door frame, and what you can do is you can grab overhead of you and then you can lean into that lat to get an even deeper stretch. And then you can also do that on the other side. This will show you from behind, so grabbing above and pulling out to the side. Oh, why the bottom of my knee is like white. This next shoulder flexibility stretch is a bit more advanced, so if you are a beginner, just stay clear of this for a little while until you're a bit more immediate to advanced, or if you're trying to get slightly harder things like sevens or Mexicans that I've talked about in the past. I'll link that video up there if you are interested. But yeah, this one is a little bit more advanced because we are going to be using some weights. Now, the great thing is you can use as light as you want weights, or you can slowly move up and make it slightly heavier and heavier. Now, it's really important that you do start off small and slowly build up, because this stretch is all about control. So you'll also need a little bench or the side of your couch or something where you can lay on it with your shoulders just near the edge so that your arms can go above. Now, for this one, you're going to be holding your weights and you're going to be bringing it above your head and letting the weights help you stretch out your shoulders, and then you're going to slowly bring it back up. So if you had a 2 kilogram weight, you could literally do it with this one. Yeah. It gives you such a nice, deeper stretch to open up your shoulders. And then you bring it back up. And then you can slowly add a little bit more weight. And then bring it back up. With this one, it's also really important that you are externally rotating your shoulders, so you're not flaring them out, you're twisting them in towards yourself, because you want to mimic what you do in a handstand. Please be really careful with how much weight you use for this one, because when you first try it, like just then, I haven't done that exercise in quite a little while, and even just 4 kilograms was a good amount. Alright, so the next couple stretches that we are going to go through are more for your thoracic spine mobility and flexibility, and the first one that we're going to start with is some happy cats and angry cats. So just dropping your tummy down to the ground and then pushing it away. Dropping down, looking up to the sky, and curling it back. And then the next one we're going to do from here, you're going to bring one arm through the gap here, and you're going to push the ground away with that hand. And then if you want an even deeper stretch, you can use that other hand to reach behind you. Really trying to push that ground away. And then coming up and onto the other side. And coming up. Alright, and the next exercise that we're going to do, you need a foam roller for it. If you don't have a foam roller, you could probably use some pillows, but foam rollers are best. So this one is also really good for opening up your thoracic spine. So you want to sit with your mid upper back on the foam roller, and you want to try and stabilize your lower back so that it doesn't move too much when you do this, and you also want to keep your head nice and neutral. So for this one, you're literally going to bring your arms over the top, and you're going to try and open up your chest to get into your thoracic. And then you can come up. If you find this too hard with your arms straight in front of you, or if you find that your neck's getting a bit strained, you can cradle your head and you can just do an easier version like that. And if you're really flexible and you're at that level, then you can elevate the foam roller a bit higher so that you can get your upper back open even more. Alright, and next we are going to go over some hamstring flexibility. So starting, you can do the standing, trying to touch the ground or your toes, hamstring stretch. The really important thing is you keep your back nice and flat when you do this one and you don't round it, because you really want to make sure you're getting that stretch through your hamstrings. If you can't reach the floor, you can just rest your hands on your shins or your thighs, wherever you feel that stretch. If you can reach the floor, you can hold the backs of your ankles/heels and you can pull yourself down further. You can also use the backs of your calves as well to help pull yourself down. And then we can do the exact same thing sitting down on the ground, so legs nice and straight back and reaching out, and you can use your feet to pull yourself down. With this one, if you find that you're getting like stuck and you really feel like you can't get much further and you feel like you need someone to like push on you, what you can do is you can grab a weight. Now make sure you can start like small and build your way up until you find a comfortable weight. You can pop it on your back and you can use that to help push yourself down. You can hold it on your back, just making sure you still keep that back flat. Okay, so this next one is also a weighted hamstring stretch, and it's the Jefferson curl. It's a really good one if you're really wanting to get your hamstring stretch even deeper. So I'd recommend starting off with a lightish weight and then building your way up. So for this one, you're going to need a box or chair or something that's super stable that you can stand on the edge. So you're going to make sure that your back is nice and flat and coming down holding the weight in your hand. And you can really sink through into your hamstrings. Then coming out. Now, those are just a couple hamstring stretches. I'm not going to go into your front splits or your middle splits because that will make this video way too long. I do already have a couple of videos where I go over my stretching routine and an intermediate to advanced splits and middles routine, so you can check them out. But we'll keep going with our functional flexibility and stretches. The next thing that we're going to go over is our wrists. Having mobile and warmed up wrists is really important. So just starting off with some little wrist circles, going both ways. I always think about like drawing a little circle with my knuckles. And then I like to do a little bit of flexion, just like super light pressure. Then we come down onto the ground and we do a little bit more weighted on our wrists. Just moving around, getting our wrists used to that pressure and weight on our wrists. Then you can go the other way and you can really get a lot or as little weight on those wrists as you like. And then the other great one that I recommend doing is wrist push-ups. So hinging at your knuckles. and then lowering yourself down. You can do this in the half push-up position, or you can do it in the full push-up position to make it even harder. Doing a set of 5 or 10 or 15 depending on where you are at. And then give your wrist a little shake out. And that is those functional exercises and stretches that you can do to help you to start handstanding, or you can add it to your warm-up, or you can curate it a bit more where you can pick the ones that you like and you can add them to your warm-up, or you can add them to your cool down. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, let me know down in the comments because I love hearing from you guys. And if you like this video, please give it a like because it really supports my channel, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, and that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video, which is usually once a week on Sundays. And I will see you guys next time. Bye. These